My name is Deborah Garcia. My son, Paul Garcia, was killed by a distracted driver.
My name is Julie Festerling, and my daughter, Caitlin Festerling, was killed by a distracted driver.
And on November 13th, 2019, I was coming home from work, and my youngest son called me on the phone and said, "Mom, there's a whole bunch of police, and I can't get home." And I was right there. I was a few minutes away, and when I got there, the police had blocked off the road right in front of our home. And I said to him, "Where's your brother?" "He's okay, Mom. Don't worry about him. He's okay." And then I went to the police officer and I said, "Is there anyone named Garcia involved in this accident?" And they said, "No." So we all stood there for over 2 hours until the police came to me and said, we've found a phone. Can you call your son's phone?" And so I did. And they just turned around to me and said, "We're so sorry."
I had no idea that my daughter and her boyfriend had even been involved in a car crash. I was at work, my son was with me, and we had gotten a phone call from my mother saying she could not get a hold of my daughter. So I hung up the phone and tried to get a hold of my daughter, and she did not answer, and she did not text back right away, which just really wasn't Caitlin to do that. Even if she was at work, she found a way to just let me know she was okay, or she would respond somehow. And this time she didn't, which was just kind of odd. So I made several other phone calls. I called 911 to ask about a crash in that vicinity of town. I called emergency rooms and spoke with other people I knew in the area who had also heard about the crash. And I just drove towards where this crash supposedly had happened. And as I approached it, it was now about 7:30 in the evening. It was dark out, and there were a lot of lights flashing from emergency vehicles. The road was blocked off, and that told me right away that it was a bad situation that I was driving up to. Roads only get blocked off when there's been a fatality. So that scared me. I parked my car, jumped out of my car, and started to run towards the emergency vehicles that were much farther up the road, and an officer stopped me and told me that I could not approach the scene. And I explained who I was and asked if my daughter was involved in the crash, and he told me I just had to stand there and wait, and that he would have officers talk to me very soon. Again, my heart sank, because I knew bad news was coming. Eventually, 3 officers approached me, and that's when I found out that unfortunately my daughter and her boyfriend did not survive the crash.
Turned out that the text message that was sent that cost 2 lives was, "Are you going to be at baseball practice?" And the response was, "No, I'm at work." And that took 2 lives. Our kids were stopped to make a left-hand turn. They had their turn signal on. They were rear-ended by a driver who was not paying attention and pushed into oncoming traffic, where the oncoming vehicle broadsided them and killed them both.
You don't think it will happen to you until it happens to you. And that is where we have partnered with Look, Save a Life, which is a nonprofit organization which is helping to educate people and to bring awareness to what an epidemic this is. This deadly distraction is destroying families, it's killing people, it's hurting people. And a moment's distraction truly can equal a lifetime of regret.
So Julie and I and Look Save a Life are going to do whatever we can for the rest of our lives to make sure that other families don't have to suffer the way that we are suffering and will continue to suffer over something that is truly a pretty selfish act, because usually a text message can wait. You need to have respect for the other people that are on the road with you. You need to think about the fact that accidents happen in a moment. You could take a father away from his family, you could take a mother away from her children, or you could take children away from their parents. People need to be thinking about that every time they pick up their phone when they're in the car.
The best way to save lives is to take the pledge and drive hands-free.
Phones down, eyes up, just drive.